Rifftrax. Never pick tracks when the riffs are missing. Why you always gotta pick Rifftrax? It's your lucky day, it's time for Rifftrax.
It was her first time.
Hello, I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And welcome to episode 28 of Every Rifftrax Short Reviewed, where I take 5 Rifftrax shorts in chronological order, review them, and give them a rating between 1 and 5, with the points being good, great, awesome, fantastic, and spectacular, because I don't think a bad Rifftrax short exists. While the last couple batches of shorts we've looked at have given us a mixed bag of subjects to cover, we've got 2 main themes today, those being responsibility and how the animals live. Oh, and what about a helicopter ride? So let's not waste any time and dive right into episode 28 of Every Rifftrax Short Reviewed. Number 136, Beginning Responsibility, Being a Good Sport, from June 14th, 2011.
Oh boy, we'll never catch him. No use even trying.
Woody grew up to be a motivational speaker.
Ah yes, from the same series that gave us Mr. Bungle comes Being a Good Sport. Here we meet Paula, a little blonde brat who's a terrible sport and complains at every single opportunity. It even goes so far as to strain her relationship with her brother and several friends. When her only friend, sadistic enough to still play with her, finally teaches her a lesson by just giving a few bland words of encouragement, Paula learns how to be a good sport not only when playing games, but also at school, since these lessons always connect back to school in some vague way.
How would you feel if you just lost 3 games in a row to a brother who bragged about winning?
Would you be consumed by shame and eventually become a lowly narrator like I did?
Just a few weeks ago, Paula was at Vicky's house. Lisa was there too, and she brought out a game to play.
4th edition Dungeons & Dragons.
Lisa knew Paula was chaotic evil and may stab her with a short sword at any moment.
Oh no, not that game again.
4th edition sucks!
Fun. Well, then you don't have to play.
Do you suppose Paula expected that reply?
Or did we just blow your minds?
A few days later, Paula got some help from her good friend Jill.
Jill was the Doogie Howser of psychotherapy.
It was her first time. She wanted to do well.
But her arms had the same range of movement as a T-Rex.
Don't give up, Paula. It's hard for everyone at first.
It took me 20 takes to nail this line.
Paula showed that she could be a good sport at school.
She didn't like tabletop D&D, so she was giving LARPing a try.
Paula had learned something about being a good sport. That made it more fun for everyone.
The 2nd grade version of Game of Thrones was a hit.
But I guess being a bad sport runs in the family, as her brother Woody just learned the same lessons himself. After being a nuisance at school, Woody finally draws the line and gains some human decency as his friends try to drag him deeper and deeper in the pits of bad sportsmanship. And in case you weren't aware, vandalizing your neighborhood is apparently a sign of bad sportsmanship now.
Let's see what Woody learned a month ago when he was playing ball with some of his friends.
The complicated game of ball.
Do you ever find yourself thinking so much about what you're doing that you forget about others? Forget about how they feel?
Here, work off that spare tire, fatty.
Woody!
What?
Taught him something.
Electricity was new to Woody's town. The boys feared and hated it.
Go ahead, Woody. Don't be a bad sport.
Woody didn't want to do something that was wrong.
Besides those ridiculous
He wanted to
pants
be liked
cuffs,
by
you
the
mean.
Others. Should he try to break the lamp?
I better not. It just might be my luck.
A talking rock. It's a miracle.
The others learned something from Woody.
That hanging out with Woody is the exact opposite of fun.
Let's see how their argument turns out.
So mean about it.
If things get heated, I got $10 on Paula.
You're on.
Now it's my turn to be a good sport and give this short a 4 out of 5.
Woody tried as hard as he could to catch up, but the other team still won.
Turns out quitting was the right choice.
Woody's
Number 137, Animal Homes, from June 28th, 2011.
They can't move or take care of themselves.
Or take out the trash, or wash a single dish, or clean their damn rooms ever.
We still talking about the ants?
I don't know.
Did you know that animals need places to live just like we do? Shocking, I know, but that does seem to be the case, and our helpful narrator here takes us on a journey seeing as many types of creatures in their different habitats as possible, from the ugliest of baby birds to the creepiest of spiders.
This is a home. But this is also a home.
For breakfast.
And this is a home.
This Manhattan apartment costs $4,000 a
And
month.
this is a... Some, like the red-winged blackbird, make their homes beside a pond where they'll be hidden in
Saw
the
this
tall
shot
reeds.
already.
It's a glitch in the Matrix.
And some are even able to make a hole in a tree trunk.
Birds love to play
The
Portal.
reason for the... And all families are the same. They have big appetites.
It was this or eat at Chili's.
It's a tough choice, really.
They won't need a home for another year when they'll build nests to raise families of their own. Have you ever stopped to think what ants use their home for?
If yes, why did you do that?
Down in their long underground tunnels, they're safe from their enemies.
This is known as the dig-dug defense.
You've all seen big round spider webs, but here's a different kind. One with a tunnel to hide in.
Also known as the windowless
Spider
van
spins a
spider.
flat web. Close by, this spider has built another web where she's laid her eggs.
The technical term for this is a cocoon of raw nightmares.
When the egg hatches, the young one has a fine home to grow in, complete with food and protection from its enemies.
Maggots have enemies? What is wrong with this world?
And it just kind of goes on like this, with the narrator just rambling on and on until it feels like he'll just be mentioning every species of animal known to man. He also starts going off on tangents, and instead of telling us about where the animals live, he also begins to tell us about how they raise their children. Fascinating stuff, Mr. Narrator.
Who do you think this is making a tunnel just under the surface?
It's one of those things from Tremors.
Graboids?
Why do you know that?
I don't know.
Here's another fellow, a gopher.
Gophers are natural enemies of Bill Murray.
When he runs out of food in one place, he digs underground to another place.
Failing that, he
This
becomes
way,
a cannibal.
He may dig a tunnel up. An old hollow tree is a home ready-made to move in and start housekeeping.
It's the animal kingdom's answer to squatting.
She's carrying something on her back. Do you know what it is?
Anger?
Resentment.
The weight of the entire world?
The mother possum then climbs on high branches in the hope that one of those backbiting ingrates will fall to its death.
But it's good to have a home to go to when the play is over.
Nick Nolte says, yeah, homes are fine, but they're not for me.
A long lesson in animal home decorating and family living, this short gets a 3 out of 5.
Does anything like this ever happen around your home?
Sure, we find random furries wrestling in our kitchen all the time.
Have I thanked you lately for not having me over to your house, Mike?
You sure have, Bill, you sure have.
Okay, let's keep that arrangement.
Number 138, Beginning Responsibility, Getting Ready for School, from July 1st, 2011.
Think the kid knows his mom is Emperor Palpatine in drag?
And now, young Skywalker, you will sleep.
Cornet gives us a 2 for a responsibility today while watching yet another incompetent child, this one named Ricky, figuring something out with no help whatsoever from his parents, who just get comedically frustrated at him instead of actually trying to punish him for his openly disobedient behavior.
Ricky's mother and father have come home late from shopping this evening. Ricky's grandmother is sleeping on the couch.
Oh, God.
And the television is still on.
Ravage me, Barney Miller.
Did he take his bath?
Oh, hell no.
Did he finish his arithmetic paper?
Not in this lifetime.
Well, no time for all that now.
Better just reward him.
In the morning, when Mother wakes him up to get ready for school, Ricky is still tired.
I gotta get off the meth.
Everyone else is getting ready for the day. Except Ricky.
Dad enjoys wearing a shoelace for a tie.
Like Ricky's gotten dressed fast. He still hasn't washed.
He's wearing his sister's underwear.
Oh,
It's a mess.
arithmetic. Everyone's eating breakfast. But where's Ricky? Working his jigsaw puzzle.
And he just swallowed Michigan.
He doesn't even have time to eat his breakfast.
It's a quick screwdriver
What a way
here.
to get ready for school. He didn't comb his hair. He didn't brush his teeth. But even worse, he forgot his arithmetic paper.
The Pentagon was counting on his times tables.
This happens often. And yet, Ricky doesn't know why. We do.
Ricky is actually the Green Lantern.
Ricky ends up going to spend the night at his friend Pete's house, and through simple observation of Pete's family, he learns how to get ready for school on time. However, Pete's family seems to be highly weird and anal, seeing as they set aside an hour each night for getting ready for bed, and help each other just a little too much. So maybe Ricky's better off as the slacker that he is.
After school, Ricky's friend Pete is waiting for him. Ricky's going to spend the night at Pete's house.
His parents have kicked him out
Go to school
again.
Right from there. Ricky and Pete were building a city before dinner.
Sadly, they'd built it on rock and roll.
Now, this book is due at the school library tomorrow. Pete wants to be sure he finishes it this evening.
He's reviewing it for the Huffington Post.
That's how the city can get built. They have lots of time.
Or do
It's
they?
only 7 o'clock.
Oh, they
Pete
do.
doesn't go to bed until 8:30. But at 7:30, Pete's mother says it's time to start getting ready for bed.
It's a 5-mile walk to bed.
Now Pete's mother wants to help Pete get his clothes ready for tomorrow.
A sundress and matching hat.
Pete gets right up.
Oh, crap. I just remembered I gotta fire a guy today.
This is Pete's brother. He's come to tell them that breakfast is almost ready.
He's well on his way to being a lifelong
But
virgin.
Pete seems to need a little help. The snap won't close.
So maybe a belt or... Ah!
There.
Oh, dear.
It's a good idea to get help when you need it.
And to make friends uncomfortable
Pete's
with your
hair
family's
needs combing.
extreme intimacy.
Where's Pete going?
Probably to get his brother to comb his hair, little freak.
Oh.
Oh.
Imagine a breakfast where you don't have to hurry. Ricky likes that.
He's coming to hate his own family.
Ricky will pick up his pajamas after school.
The old leave something behind
Ricky
to
likes
ensure a
Pete's way
second
of getting
date
ready for
trick?
school. Getting ready for school begins the night before.
Or even sooner. Why not start getting ready for the next day of school while you're at school?
There's no time to waste. Live your life in constant fear of the approaching day.
Bet Pete's brother dries his face for him. I hate my lazy siblings.
But he's going to keep on trying.
That's why we call it beginning responsibility, not continuing to be responsible.
As long as you get to school on time without looking like a truck ran over you, I'm sure your routine is fine. This responsible short gets a 4 out of 5.
It's after 8:30. Not even for just one more game? Not if they want to get the sleep they need.
Narrator really seems to enjoy these talks with himself.
Does he? Well, I suppose he might. Is it because of his crippling loneliness? He'd ask his wife, but she's long gone. Is he proud of his choices? He can't remember what pride feels like.
Number 139, Adventures of a Chipmunk Family from July 5th, 2011.
A fluffy rabbit. Chipmunks need not be afraid of rabbits. Rabbits eat only plants.
That's just what the rabbit wants them to think.
Time to watch Chipmunk Family's quote-unquote adventures, and thankfully those adventures don't include any footage from the Alvin the Chipmunks movies. Anyway, we open as so many of these animal shorts do, with an over-enthusiastic narrator showing the lead creatures of our story growing up and living their simple animal lives.
We've cut away the earth so we can look inside.
Yeah, that seems non-invasive.
See the baby
Yeah, like the
chipmunks
TMZ
resting on a
reporters.
bed
Or
of dry
colonoscopies.
leaves and grass.
Pretty much the same thing.
They're looking more and more like their mother.
Mother sees her own looming mortality staring back at her and begins to quietly go mad.
Chipmunks are very... One adventurous little fellow goes up the tunnel that leads to the outside.
Alvin! Alvin! Alvin!
Sight he will see.
Okay.
In a tree, a blue jay is pecking at an acorn.
And knitting a bird sweater for a friend, all in his
Hurries
tiny
back
bird
into the den.
imagination.
Oh, look, a deer.
Just got into some wild with Moose Baby, man. Dude can party.
The Indians long ago gave the chipmunks their name, Chipmunk. That means squirrels that chip.
The Indians call squirrels chipmunks that don't chip.
One of the youngsters has found something to eat.
Her brother.
As the chipmunks continue to grow, we find that sadly these so-called adventures aren't anything out of the ordinary for any small woodland creature. And the only mildly interesting thing we see is a chipmunk getting chased by a weasel, and I guess that's supposed to be an adventure? But I certainly wouldn't call it an adventure if I was being chased by someone attempting to murder me.
Chipmunks use their front feet like hands.
The star of Ice Age in an early role.
Summer months have passed, and autumn has come to the woodland.
The Detroit Lions have been eliminated from the
Chipmunk does
playoffs.
much work during just one more nut, and then
Then I'm clean, man. I'm conquering
off
this
to the
thing.
den to store them away.
God.
Weasels can move very fast. They're larger and stronger than chipmunks.
And in hindsight, a much more interesting subject for a short film.
The strange tunnel seems to frighten the weasel.
Okay, I'm projecting. It
And
frightens
just
me,
long
the
enough.
narrator. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Chipmunk booty.
The first snows are falling,
It's August in
and
Minnesota.
they're
Less of an adventure and more a day-in-the-life story, this rodent-filled short gets a 2.5 out of 5.
a good rest, and they'll be ready for more adventures tomorrow.
Same monk time, same monk channel.
Number 140, Billy's Helicopter Ride from July 7th, 2011.
On Uncle Joe's helicopter, we can see another rotor at the tail. It's called the tail rotor.
Billy longs to be back in math
Tail rotor
class.
holds the helicopter.
This short gives us exactly what the title promises, a kid named Billy taking a helicopter ride. It starts with Billy and his father visiting his Uncle Joe at an airfield, and they start inspecting a helicopter and learning all about it. And this takes a good 3.5 minutes that drag on forever.
The tale of how Jimmy Carter distracted his brother while he brokered the Camp David Accords.
No, Billy! Hands off the throttle! You'll kill us all! No, Billy!
Most of us enjoy watching helicopters.
Citation needed.
Wouldn't it be fun to find out more about helicopters?
One would think so.
And yet...
Let's watch as they visit Billy's Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe was last seen
Today,
trying to steal
Billy's going to
silverware
learn
from
a lot
Billy's
about
house during
helicopters.
Easter brunch.
For it also helps control the direction of flight.
Billy decides to go into tax
Now,
preparation.
Billy's going to get it. Of course, the best way to learn about a helicopter is to go for a ride. A ride? Now? Yes. Uncle Joe planned it as a surprise for Billy.
But Billy had seen the title screen and the surprise was
Billy's
ruined.
father said it.
Finally, after all that build-up, we get to see what we paid for, and Billy gets his helicopter ride. Most of what they see is what you'd expect, with farms and houses and stuff, but oh, the riffs make all the innocence so deliciously dark. Much like the short itself, the riffs start a little slow for me, but once the helicopter takes to the air, the wait was more than worth it.
Billy waves goodbye, but Dad is already hedging his bets and ordering up 2 headstones.
And there's a whole herd of cattle.
Bloody remains of the farmer and his family go unreported by Uncle Joe, who has an arrangement
Right now,
with the cows.
helicopter is flying, but Uncle Joe can also make the helicopter fly very fast.
Uncle Joe blindfolds himself and suggests that Billy take a moment to make peace with his gods.
Relentless darkness. That's what you get.
Uncle Joe has something special he wants Billy to see.
Oh, God.
Yes, the helicopter is coming down on the landing place, which is called a heliport.
Or landing place.
It's easy.
Oh, that's right, chum. Billy don't open his own door.
Billy's never been on the roof of a tall building before.
But Uncle Joe is up here most days,
It would be
working
fun
up his
to spend
nerve.
The whole Billy lives in one of the houses down there. They look much different from up here.
Billy is overcome with ennui at observing the mediocrity of his own neighborhood from above.
And some of Billy's friends playing in the park.
We hate you, Billy.
Do you suppose they know it's Billy flying in the helicopter above them?
No, because I have a basic understanding of how
Up ahead,
vision
we can
works.
see people swimming. Well, it seems that Billy's father is glad to have Billy back.
Which is pretty surprising to everybody, frankly.
Billy. People swimming in the
Pure event made to seem full of pain and resentment, this helicopter ride gets a 4 out of 5.
And down there are 2 people in a motorboat. They're trying to race the helicopter.
They're drug runners and have heard about Billy's reputation as a violent narc officer.
Kids,
As always, thank you all so much for watching, and special thanks to my lovely Patreon supporters, including Jackie Ball, Kevin Nata, and Jill Johnson. And we are almost there, folks. My very next upload will be my 100th video celebration with a new countdown of my top 20, yes, 20 underrated episodes of MST3K. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.